Ninja Gaiden is in fact looking, Ninja Gaiden 4 is in fact looking God tier. But you know what's not looking God tier? The first article of the day. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. One of the hottest stories coming out of Gamescom in Germany is that the Nintendo Switch 2, when it runs Elden Ring, a game that released 3 years ago, the Switch 2 starts frying like Popeyes chicken. Elden Ring Switch 2 performance isn't that great, reports claim. When the Switch 2 was properly revealed, a perhaps unsurprising reveal. Shout out to JB with the sub. You can sub on YouTube now. You can sub on YouTube now. You can sub on YouTube. You get access to the private Discord. All Twitch and YouTube subs get access to it. Connect your account. Shout out to Digital Cloud with the sub as well. Reveal was the fact that Elden Ring was coming to the platform. The console was more powerful than the original Switch. After all, though, there was still the question of how it might run given just how big Elden Ring is. Well, as it currently stands, performance might be quite bad, as a demo for the port of the game at Gamescom is reportedly running at a low frame rate. Not only that, but Bandai Namco staff running the demo apparently weren't letting people record footage of the game either. Nintendo Life shared a video featuring video producer Felix Sanchez in which he detailed his experience with Elden Ring on the Switch 2. It's really bad, and I understand why they don't want you to see this, because wowie zowie, that's a white guy, wowie zowzers, it's terrible, Sanchez explained, also claiming that no gameplay could be recorded through direct capture or even over the shoulder. Of course, you're never going to see the light of this. Maybe it'll just release in that state, but I can't imagine they will do that. It was like playing Ocarina of Time. It was like 20 frames per second. Sometimes I was like, this has to drop to 15 frames per second. Now, it is worth noting that Sanchez played the game in handheld mode, and during the tutorial section of the game, it ran well for the most part, but when he arrived in the full open world section, the performance went. As it stands, Elden Ring doesn't currently have a Switch 2 release date, though it's supposed to be releasing this year. That does give it some time to improve upon the reported performance issues. So does that mean Dust Bloods won't run well on the Switch 2? No, it does not, because Dust Bloods is a game that's being specifically made for the Switch 2. So that game is being made in mind with the hardware limitations. So I predict that game will run well. The problem with Elden Ring is it wasn't made for the Switch 2. It's a port, right? It was made for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series. The only thing that I will question about this is Elden Ring was on the PS4, and I've seen footage of it. It actually does run decent. So there is a chance here that when the full game comes out, maybe this demo just wasn't ready to be shown. They probably shouldn't have shown it. When the full game is actually finished, there's a chance that it could run well. Maybe they just didn't have time to optimize the demo. So I'm going to be fair to them, because I mean, this is a 3-year-old game. But what I will say is we're going to keep an eye on this Elden Ring port. What I will say is when the full game for Elden Ring comes out on the Switch 2, if it runs like dog shit, oh my God, this generation for the Switch 2 is going to be a long one. Because I can't stress enough that Elden Ring is now a 3-year-old game that cannot run on new hardware. It should be running effortlessly. And the worst part is Elden Ring is not even a graphically intensive game. I think the best thing about Elden Ring is maybe the lighting. It has some really gorgeous lighting in certain sections, but in terms of textures, it's not anything that's pushing any boundaries. So this is interesting. This could spell disaster, because this could be somewhere down the line where, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years into the Switch 2's lifespan, we have another bad Nintendo situation where you might want to buy a third-party game to play on your Switch 2, but you can't because it runs like dog shit, kind of like Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch. Everything's running at 10 frames, but I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they just didn't have time to optimize, and maybe they should have just not shown it. We'll wait to see how the full thing comes out, but I will say, I'm not going to say red flag, but I am going to say this is a yellow flag. Is this the trend on game devs or the hardware itself? I would say it's more the hardware itself, because I mean, well, it's hard to see. Like I said, it's hard to say. I think we have to revisit that conversation when the full game comes out, because like I said, it could just be they didn't have time to optimize, and then it should have came down to you should have just shown it. when the full game comes out and maybe a few more AAA releases, we'll see how these ports are running. But from the way Cyberpunk launched, Cyberpunk is another game that came out 2-3 years ago, and it just kind of ran okay on the Switch 2. If these old games are already struggling to run decently and you have to degrade the graphics a ton, shout out to Creamix. I would say we have another Switch situation on our hands. But the problem is like, this is a conversation I expected to have like 2 years from now, maybe 3. We're having this conversation 1 month removed from the release, that it's struggling to run 3-year-old games. And I think what really sucks about this situation is the whole appeal of the Switch 2 is you get to play games on the go, you know? Maybe someone's older, or maybe someone works a job where they're always on the move. They have to fly a lot, or they have to drive it, like you're a truck driver. Maybe and you don't want to do the PC gaming thing. You're a Nintendo person, so you got a Switch 2. You pull in and you say, you know, tonight I don't feel like fucking a lot lizard, so I think I'm gonna play my Switch 2. I feel bad for those people who are always on the go and thinking they're gonna get this AAA experience where they're gonna play Elden Ring or Cyberpunk, and the frame rate is moving like a you know. But like I said, I'm gonna be fair here and say let's wait for the full game to come out. Maybe this is just a bad demo. They didn't have time to optimize it, but we will be keeping an eye on this because and if you want to know my opinion, I'm trying to be objectively fair with this, but I am leaning towards, I think this might be a hardware problem, because let's not forget, Donkey Kong Bonanza just came out in July. The reviews were great. Everybody said the game is great. But one thing I've seen a lot of people say is that frame rate we dipping when there be explosions on the screen and shit like that. And that's a cartoony game. It's not even graphically intensive. And that's a first party game. You know Nintendo is optimizing those first party games. So, and Cyberpunk runs just kind of okay. So there is evidence mounting against the Switch 2. And we'll be watching to see how Elden Ring does. Somebody just subbed. Shout out to Maximum Obesity with the sub, and shout out to Creamix. You both did the Joning sub. God damn, okay. Shout out to y'all. You can sub on YouTube now. You get access to the private Discord. Would it not be the processor though? But I would think worlds like Elden Ring and Cyberpunk would be too taxing on the system. Those are massive games. Yeah, but if somebody's paying $450 for a new console that just came out a month ago, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Also, tariffs coming into play. That Switch 2 about to be $500, $550, depending on where you at. We are not trying to hear that. Figure it out. That's the developer's job. And my thing is, like, I think Nintendo can get away with releasing these third-party games in this state if there was a constant influx of great first-party games, right? If we were getting a new Mario, Zelda, Star Fox, Kirby, Smash Bros. Like every 3 months or something like that, I think a lot of people wouldn't bat an eye because, you know, at least we're getting quality first-party games. I feel like Nintendo has slowed down on the release of first-party games. Even the directs are full of shit that I don't be caring about. These random obscure JRPGs, which I know that appeals to certain people, but come on, man, where's Star Fox at, man? I suspect Nintendo might have become a little bit too focused on their movie projects. I mean, after looking at the success of the Super Mario movie, I'd imagine they're seeing dollar signs. We know they're working on that Zelda movie. They might have lost focus. Welcome to the stream, Cram, and shout out to Sammy Sosa with the sub. Hopefully they have a better Switch 2 lineup that doesn't have this detachable Joy-Cons. Yeah. I was just about to say prices going up. They going up, bruh. Unfortunately, they going up. A whole bunch of farming sims. Like, I don't want to play that shit. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on this story. And this is what I would imagine when the full game comes out. If it is a hardware issue, I'd imagine this is what the full version of Elden Ring on the Switch 2 is gonna look like, which unfortunately is a... Y'all want to play this at 13 frames? This is not actually what it looks like. I think this is the PC version on potato mode. For those unaware, there's like mods you can install on your PC to get games to run on something called potato mode, which is basically forcing the game to run on a lower setting than what the devs even recommend. This is not the Switch 2 version. This is just a joke, guys. This is a meme. But the Switch 2 version could look like this. The Play-Doh mode. Yo, shout out to E Sims with the sub. Appreciate it. Potato mode. No, it's real. Potato mode is some people install the mod, the potato mods, because like they don't want to upgrade their PC. It's for the people who don't want to upgrade their PC. They make it so that it's the bare minimum textures just so you can experience the game. And my thing is like they could get a PS4 at that point. Jesus fucking Christ. So there are some PC gamers out there that are poorer than PS4 niggas. Not a lot, but they are out there. Why do you keep spamming good for you in the chat? Why do you keep spamming that? Get a PS4 is crazy. Get a PS4 at that point. Other news I got for you. We got a first trailer for the Splinter Cell animated series. Let's go to YouTube. Get a higher quality one. This damn YouTube player. Splinter Cell, Netflix. We can't get a game, but Ubisoft's got a show for us. Here we go. First look at Splinter Cell. Oh, and since we're on the topic of Splinter Cell and stealth games, tomorrow there will be a media blitz. If you're looking forward to Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Delta, the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, gameplay impressions, and they drop tomorrow, the embargo, including my video, but everybody's. It'll be in the sub box. Look forward for tomorrow. But anyways, here you go. Which tomorrow will be the 22nd for the people watching Ohio time. The government always gonna call that number. It look okay. It look all right. I think the animation could be a little bit better, but it looks like the production with the voice acting is solid. I'll watch it. I'll give it an episode or two. I'll watch it. Yo, shout out to Frozone with the super chat. He said, "You're consistent. Take my money." I appreciate you. Yeah, the animations could definitely be better, but it looks okay. I wonder what's the cut for Ubisoft to license out the Splinter Cell IP to Netflix, because I mean, one thing we know is that Ubisoft is fucking poor, man. Poverty Productions. I wonder how much money they're getting out of this. I imagine most of the money is going to Netflix because it's their platform, but Ubisoft owns the IP. I hope it's enough to keep the lights on, because I know they're flickering these days. But yeah, that's Splinter Cell. October is dropping. Yeah, they're struggling, man. Put my shit back on. In other news, and niggas have lost their mind news, I think EA is infecting the brains of other companies. Now, for those who don't follow this stream, there's an article that came out a couple weeks ago. The CEO of EA, Andrew Wilson, said he expects Battlefield 6 to have 100 million players. And he didn't specify if that's concurrent or 100 million players over the span of the lifespan of the game. So it comes across like concurrent. So a lot of people are calling that motherfucker crazy. But it seems like he's not the only crazy one on the block, because we now have an exclusive article from Insider Gaming from Randy Pitchford, the head of Gearbox, world-renowned Scientologist. I think he's number 2 ranked behind Tom Cruise. He says, "We will break 100 million units with the launch of Borderlands 4. And I'm here to let you know, nigga, no, you will not. No, you will not. No, you will not. I'm all for the manifestation and speaking things into existence, but no, you will not. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and be a dickhead, because I don't even believe the entire series has had 100 million. Maybe I'm wrong. Borderlands, VG charts. I know people like Borderlands. I don't know if maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm out of tune, but I don't know if motherfuckers like it that much. Boo, boo. 30 million for Elden Ring, so I doubt it. Right. So let's see. Without even having to fully do the math here, 30 million on Borderlands 2, 6 million on Borderlands, 23 on Borderlands 3. So the series as a whole has never cracked 100 million copies combined. If you take it individually, Borderlands 1 got nowhere near it. 2 and 3 got about a third of that. But he thinks the 4th one is going to be the one that cracks the 100 million, bro. Now, this kind of reverts back to the conversation we've been having for the last few months on this stream, that the biggest problem in gaming, and I'm going to be honest, society as a whole right now, is capitalism. When you start making X amount of dollars, it starts to cloud your judgment. You start manifesting things that you didn't even think was possible, especially when you're a Scientologist. Borderlands 4 is set to be released worldwide on September 12th, and it's the broadest and most ambitious iteration that Gearbox has ever created. In Borderlands 4, players are set to explore a seamless open world and be presented with more choices and options for gameplay styles than ever before. I sat down with Randy Pitchford at Gamescom to learn all about Borderlands 4 and what it took to create it to where it goes post-launch. He made a bold statement about the sales of the series and how impactful Borderlands 4 will be. I'm gonna say it right now. If Borderlands 4 sells 100 million copies, they sacrificed. They did some type of Illuminati sacrifice. Randy Pitchford had to push fucking Kojima off a goddamn cliff like Hihachi does his sons in Tekken. That's what they did. We're now experts at Borderlands. When I caught up with Randy Pitchford at Gamescom, I came away with a wealth of information about Borderlands 4, the upcoming open world shooter from Gearbox. As the CEO and creator of the franchise, Pitchford has been pivotal in pushing the brand forward for the last 20 years, working with a dedicated and talented team to make the series. Pitchford reflected on that and the look to the future with the series when he said, "We're just now beginning to dig into what our post-launch is, and we've got some extremely exciting plans that I cannot wait to share and talk about. We're now an expert at making Borderlands 4, and when you're making a game, you kind of figure out how to make it as you ship it. That's one of the reasons why our post-launch content tends to be so good. Thinking about Borderlands beyond the game is so wild to me. I remember I came to Gamescom with Borderlands 1 just trying to scream from the tallest mountain to get anyone to pay attention to it, and nobody cared. A lot of people predicted that Borderlands wasn't going to work. Now here we are with the game franchise. We will break 100 million units with this launch easy. All in with the franchise." Okay. This quote is a little misleading. I think what he's saying is he thinks Borderlands 4 will push the total sales to 100 million. Which, I mean, if we look at it, yeah, it's clickbait basically, but even still, it might be a reach. Let's see. So total, it sold 59 million. So they would have to move 41 million units. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they're doing that. That's a better goal than 100 million, but I don't think you've never done it before. Not only have you never done it, you haven't even gotten that close. If Borderlands 2 sold maybe like 38 million, then I would say, okay, 41 is plausible. But going from 30 million to 41 million, that is, and you're way past your prime. Because I can't stress enough, Borderlands 4, we're looking at Shaq on the Celtics, you know? Scottie Pippen on the Blazers, you know? I know we're not talking about Prime Jordan here. I don't know. They act like other games. Yeah, see, that's what I was gonna bring up too, Mike. Another issue Borderlands is facing is it has a lot of stiff competition, right? Gears of War is coming out. You got Wu-Chang that just came out. Ghost of Yote is coming out. 2K is coming out. Metal Gear Solid is coming out. There's so many games coming out in the span of the same window. You got Battlefield 6, Call of Duty. People only have so much money to spend. And you niggas keep talking about Lost Soul aside. I don't know, man. Silent Hill F. You got Silent Hill F coming out. There's so many quality games coming out. There's a lot of stiff competition and people don't have unlimited resources, especially in this economy. So I think it's important to be realistic and maybe dial it back. I think they confirmed Silk Song coming out this year too. I know y'all looking a lot forward to that. Ninja Gaiden 4. That's why we Steam sharing Game Pass. Yeah, Silk Song, Ninja Gaiden 4. It's so many games coming out. And I'm gonna be 100% honest. My job is social media. So I pay attention to the zeitgeist. I pay attention to what people are talking about. And to keep it a buck, I don't see nobody talking about Borderlands 4 on social media. I'm not trying to be facetious. I just don't see it. Maybe it's my algorithm or something, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. Even when I talk about it on stream, you'll see like 2 or 3 people saying, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We got somebody who be in the chat who work on the game, so you know he rooting for it. But as a whole, I don't really see a big conversation going on about Borderlands. Borderland. That's what we calling it. Borderland. Oh shit. Borderlands is more than. Oh, you just yapping. This is a clickbait article though. You definitely misquoted him. This is why, chat. This is why it's important to read the articles. What are you linking? Fear the Deer. Read the articles, guys. Blue Eye Samurai season 2. I didn't even watch season 1, bro. I don't know shit about this. Not TBH. You've been in gaming for long enough to know it ain't gonna pop. It's gonna sell. Borderlands 4 is gonna sell. It's just it's got a lot of stiff competition this year. I mean, if we so what is it? Borderlands 2 sold 30 million. Borderlands 3 it said 23 million. I predict 10 to 15 million for Borderlands 4 over the span of its lifespan. Best case scenario, 20 to 25 million. Because I feel like Borderlands 2 was the prime. So like everybody was hyped about it. And then Borderlands 3 was riding off the coattail of the success of Borderlands 2. But 3 left a bad taste in people's mouth. So I don't think Borderlands 4 has the same momentum going from 2 to 3. So I think it'll probably hover around the same place as best case scenario, similar sales to Borderlands 3. But I don't know if it can do that. I just Googled and it says Borderlands is at 92 million sold. Are you talking about Google's AI? What's the you know Google's AI be lying, right? Borderlands sales. Is that accurate? You going off Reddit? What is this in reference to? Sorry, this post was deleted. Borderlands has sold 90 million copies ahead of Borderlands 4 release. There's no source on this. I went to VG charts. Unless this is inaccurate, I can only go off what's on here. I could be wrong. But if it's the AI, I wouldn't trust Google's AI. Google's AI is terrible. That should be lying like a motherfucker. Yes, I know about the Sekiro anime, guys. Other news. Sony plans to sell co-ownership stake in Evo, but they will return as a sponsor. Translation. I talk about this on stream all the time. Esports is cool, but we don't know if we want to have a full-blown investment. We'll sponsor the show, but we don't really want to have a whole share in the shit. We'll pay for like a poster on the side. So if you get a shot of the poster, we'll do that. We don't really want to foot the bill for the venue anymore. Let's see. The Evo organization announced the details of its change in ownership and investment in a press release launched this week. It begins with Sony bowing out of its co-ownership of Evo by selling its stake to Nodwin Gaming. I don't know. Nod Gaming. I don't know what that is. Of which parent company Sony also backs. Nodwin comes out of India, where it has produced esports events and content based around games like PUBG and Valorant. The group will join RTS in co-ownership of Evo for the foreseeable future. Sony will continue to support Evo as a global sponsor and partner. So they sold it themselves. Yep. Nodwin Gaming acknowledges Sony's part in helping grow and expand Evo and managing director Scott is excited to pick up the baton and run with it alongside RTS. Evo was built by a team with authenticity and passion for the fighting game community, which is unmatched. We will include Sony's great work and honor the legacy of everyone who's made it what it is today, while opening the door for a new generation to experience the spirit of Evo. Likewise, RTS shared enthusiasm for the future. As part of this announcement included an increase in investment from, I don't know how to pronounce that, which becomes an Evo global partner in 2024. Teaming up with them strengthens the future of RTS and what we're building with Evo. An event that lives up to the name by driving real transformation in the fighting game community through new opportunities, deeper connections, and meaningful growth. All right, so I got a few predictions with this and what this means. Like I said, for Sony to pull out of it, that says to me it wasn't generating enough money, because we know Sony loves to make fucking money. It wasn't generating enough revenue, so they sold it while it was still worth something because they didn't want to lose too much. That's one thing. The second thing, since they sold it to some Indian investors, I'm not saying this will happen. I would not be shocked if we get a third Evo. We have Evo, the Crown event every year in America, in Vegas. Then you have Evo Japan. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an Evo India. Oh yeah, there's an Evo France. I forgot. That shit sucks, nigga. Who cares? Evo Evo France. Who? I ain't never on the Evo France channel. Nobody cares. We have 4. Wait, there's another one. What's the other one? I missed it. I forgot about the. Oh, there's a Malaysian one. Oh shit! I wouldn't be surprised if they added that. Which there's nothing wrong with that. That means more money, more view, more things to watch. What I will say though is it kind of does. If they add another show to the circuit, it does kind of water down, I think, the name. Because what does it mean to be Evo champ if someone's Evo France champ, Evo Japan, Evo America? I feel like the only one that matters is Evo America. And I'm not saying that because I'm American. It's not the bias, but I just feel like that's the only one people really be talking about. And then number 2, you do see people talk a little bit about Evo Japan because a lot of the best players are from Japan. But the other ones, nobody really cares. That's what I say. Evo France, who gives a fuck, bro? So yeah, I predict they'll add another show to the circuit possibly. And then last but not least, I'll say this. If at any point the quality of the show goes down, you know why. Sony sold it. Doesn't mean it will. It could go other ways. But anytime you change leadership, anything could happen. Anything could happen. Because whenever a new CEO comes into play, what are you linking? A lot of times they clean house with companies. Evo Nigeria, Evo Cleveland. All right, y'all just saying shit. I will say Mina won Evo Japan, but it didn't really matter till he won America this year. That's where the big bucks in the cloud is at. Dante versus Virgil, Brother versus Virgil, Devil May Cry Season 2 premieres in 2026.
I'm here to help you.
What's the catch?
This is about your twin brother. We found him.
Evo Japan. Not Evo Japan, but Evo Cleveland. If you win Evo Cleveland, you win a golden ticket out of the city. And since they don't have airports or cars or buses, you have to, they bring in 2 gentlemen like Lewis and Clark. You have to pack a backpack full of like snacks and shit for like a week. And you have to truck through fucking Ohio to get out of the fucking state. That's what you get. You get a passage. So when every time you hit a checkpoint, the super mutants in the what's the soldiers from fucking Fallout? The Brotherhood of Steel, they'll let you pass. Like, no, he won Evo Cleveland. He's allowed to leave Ohio. You're allowed to go live in fucking civilization. That's what you win. Fuck Cleveland.
You learned how to make an entrance. That's new.
I hoped it would be you, little brother.
Virgil. That's the Evo Cleveland champ. Get out the way. There's a settlement in Cleveland that needs your help. Looks cool. Looks cool. What else we got? Oh, we have an update to a story from yesterday. So yesterday, somebody in the chat put me onto a story about something that's going on. So first and foremost, for those who missed the news, the tariffs are kicking in and they are going to be affecting the price of the PlayStation. PlayStation has announced that they are raising the price of the base PS5 and the Pro. The base PS5 will go from, first of all, it's the recommended price. It doesn't mean it'll be that. It could be higher. It depends on what the store chooses to charge. But Sony recommends stores charge $550 for the base PS5 and I believe $750 for the Pro. So everything's going to increase by 50. But once again, if it's a mom and pop that has lower distribution, it might be higher. It might be, instead of $750, it might be $800. Instead of $550, it might be $600. So that was a big deal because for PS4 niggas, they were upset. They couldn't, they haven't been able to afford it for the last 5 years. They have had a lot of different things. First, they said it was COVID, which was valid because people were buying it up, the bots. But then they said, they couldn't get a job, even though they've had like 3 years to get it. And then, I don't know. Somebody in the chat put me onto this. So they were saying that GameStop announced they're going to be doing a brand deal where they're going to essentially say you can trade in your PS4 and get $50 towards the PS5. And this is a big deal. Because right now, if you take your PS4 to GameStop, you would have got nothing for it. They would have took it out back and punted it. But they're being nice and saying, hey, we'll give you at least $50 for this deal towards a PS5. So we went from 0 to 50. That's great. I have an update on that story. If you pay attention and you click the terms of service, you read the terms of service, you got to zoom in on this part because they make it really small. There's something you might have missed. So I downloaded this. Zoom in. And it states, this offer for $50 on your PS4 is only valid till August 23rd. They announced this deal on the 20th, yesterday. Today's the 21st. So as of today, you have 2 days to get $50 on your PS4. Now, A, this is fucking funny because it's forever fucking you PS4 niggas over. If you ain't got it, good luck. B, this is another reason why fucking people hate you, GameStop. You trying to act like you for the people, trading in your Xbox One and your PS4. And they made this bitch extra small too. They say, hey, by the way, you only got 2 days to get this $50. GameStop, do you guys need some money? They said we can only afford to give you $50 for 2 days. Do you need some fucking money, guys? So the update on this story is not only are PS4 niggas broke, but so is GameStop. I mean, we already knew it, but we just confirmed it through this advertisement. Fucking funny. You would think that this deal would have lasted at least a month. Hey, for the month of September, in September 2025 only, bring in your PS4 and trade it in towards the PS5 for $50. Okay, cool. A 3-month deal, cool. They say you got 3 days. So PS4 niggas, you got 2 days left. You know, start flipping the couch, lifting the couch seats, start looking for the spare change, go in your mama car, look in between the seats, see if you can find some quarters and some pennies, take it to the bank, start collecting cans around the neighborhood, trade that in, get some money, man. Also trade in your PS4 because in 2 days, your PS4 will be officially worth nothing. It will be officially worth nothing. And GameStop confirmed it because they're only willing to pay you $50 for a special deal. When it goes back to regular, it's going back to nothing, bitch. So yeah, just wanted to give you guys an update because I think that's important for all PS4 niggas. You guys are on the clock. You got 2 days to figure it out. What else we got? Coming from Polygon. Despite the wait, Hollow Knight creators say Silk Song's development was never in development hell. In a report by Jason Schreier of Bloomberg, Team Cherry pulls back the curtain on the creation of a much-anticipated indie game, and while there are no enormous reveals, it's still fascinating to hear the Aussies speak so frankly about a game that's otherwise been shrouded in mystery. As fans are painfully aware, Silk Song originally began as a planned piece of DLC for Hollow Knight, but midway through development, the plan changed to expand it into a standalone release. This was the start of an entire saga that spawned countless memes and impatient fans, some of whom turned to wait for Silk Song into their online identity. You couldn't have any type of gaming event or live stream without someone crossing their fingers saying that still Silk Song would make an appearance. And the longer the game went MIA, the more feverishly or fervently, I don't know, how the fuck do you pronounce that? Fervently? I don't know how to pronounce it. We finna learn this shit. Hold up. I understand what it means, but
Fervently.
We learn this shit. The more fervently fans believe next time would totally pay off. Turns out Team Cherry was just having a good time making the game. Maybe too good of a time. At one point, the creative team realized it simply had to stop ideating and expanding the scope of the game. Otherwise, the game would never ship. I remember at some point I had to just stop sketching. Referencing his work, the crafting the concept art, because I went, everything I'm drawing here has to end up in the game. That's a cool idea. That's in. That's a cool idea. That's in. You realize I had to stop drawing. This is going to take 15 years to finish. Ironically, the longer Silk Song took make, the longer Team Cherry wanted to keep working on it. After all, expectations for the game just kept rising. The team wanted to make sure that Silk Song could meet the massive expectation fans has for it, and based on what Team Cherry has shared thus far, the sequel certainly sounds more ambitious than Hollow Knight. Silk Song sounds massive. There are multiple towns, and each one has its own set of quests. Hollow Knight, on the other hand, it had a single hub. Good to see they had a good time, but it's irresponsible to never give updates, pretty much, especially when you got a fever-pitched fan base that really wants to support your game. That's fascinating to me. Like, a lot of people beg for this level of support, regardless of what kind of business you're in, and you guys get it, and like they just go quiet. They act like you don't even like fucking exist. But the crazy part is like, the reason Team Cherry does it is because they can. Because to be fair, you guys are going to buy the game anyway. I'd actually argue like fanboys of Silk Song, you guys are kind of like Corey Kenshin fans. Like, you guys complain that he makes one video and then disappears for a year, but then you love that nigga. As soon as he drops a video, you're right back. You love that abusive relationship. Matter of fact, if we can do some type of study and figure this out, I would not be surprised if Corey Kenshin fans and Silk Song fans are one and the same. If those two worlds are intertwining, I would not be surprised. It's a certain type of person. Yo, shout out to Dev with the super chat. Homie going crazy. We voting on the maps to give them PS4 niggas some tariff relief. What? Another fact that probably contributed to the game's lengthy development was money. Hollow Knight had similarly extended development circuit, and in some ways it sounded like the reason the game only really came out because Team Cherry was otherwise going to run out of money. For Silk Song, the team had already sold millions of copies of Hollow Knight. Crucially, the bulk of these 15 million sales happened during the extended wait for Silk Song. It seems like the more people hyped up Silk Song, the more other bystanders would wonder that exactly what the fuss was about. In a way, the culture of waiting and developing around Silk Song was the best possible thing that could have happened to the game marketing-wise. It created a cult. Big budget games spend a small fortune trying to amass a fraction of the attention that Silk Song garnered by doing absolutely nothing, at least publicly. The downside to that is you better hope this game lives up to the hype, because otherwise it's gonna be crazy the hate they're gonna get. LOL, they just chilling off the Hollow Knight bread. Pretty much. Now that we know that why it took so long, the next logical question is, can Silk Song possibly live up to all that hype? Yeah, that's basically what I said. I mean, they said it's coming out this year, so I mean, this is another game for those. But they said, the developers said, get off our dicks, bro. We got this shit. We got this shit. What up, Archer? In other news, if you're on the PS5 and you love Xbox games, and don't say you don't, because we know you niggas do. It's always at the top of the charts. We got another Xbox game. Some news on it. Forza 6 location may have just leaked online. Fans believe they've worked out the setting for Forza Horizon 6 based on a teasing social media post from a car import company connected to the game. In a now deleted Instagram post, vehicle import firm Colt and Classic shared an image purporting to a show Forza Horizon staff member digitally scanning a car for the use in the series' next game. The post went on to state that the staff member had traveled to its premises in Australia to scan a series of key models, which are unusual to find outside of Japan. And it's because of this, the fans now believe Japan is Forza Horizon 6 next setting. Exciting news, the post read. We have Cody here from Forza shooting cars for the next installation in the series. As there are no late model key cars in America, he has flown out from the States to use our cars as a basis for the digital version. We're huge gamers here at Colt & Classic, and it's an honor to be supporting Forza and making these cars accessible virtually for people who can't have them IRL. This means nothing. Nah, they talking about scanning things, you know. Although it could just be because they were just trying to get this car. It doesn't mean it's necessarily in Japan. These cars are in Horizon 5, so it's no big deal. I don't even know. Yeah, you're right. It could mean nothing. I'd argue it doesn't really matter because racing fans are super hardcore. Y'all going wherever. Forza could be in Willacoochee, Georgia. Y'all gonna buy it, especially you PlayStation niggas, because we know if it's two things we know about PlayStation niggas. They gonna be in the Twitter Spaces lying, talking about what games they buying, and two, they gonna buy them Xbox exclusives. Well, they no longer exclusive now. We know what y'all gonna do. Y'all ready? Y'all licking y'all lips. Ooh, we can't wait to play Grounded 3. What's that zombie game coming to Xbox? The third one? Y'all looking for that? Grounded. I can't wait for Honey I Shrunk the Kids. I love to ride around on these ants and shit. PlayStation, the new Halo and Gears machine. I have a will, so. Who got a will? Who else got a will? You right, I love Forza. State of Decay. Yeah, State of Decay. We know y'all looking forward to that shit, bro. State of Decay on PlayStation. Good news for all three Splitgate fans. Bad news for Splitgate developers. Peer-to-peer multiplayer's coming next week, so you can keep playing after the server shut down. Finally, some good news for Splitgate fans. The developers say the original Splitgate will be moving to peer-to-peer multiplayer on August 29th, meaning the game will continue to be playable online even though the servers are being taken down. Starting August 29th, the original Splitgate will be moving peer-to-peer as we focus our resources on rebuilding Splitgate. We know this game means the world to so many of you, and we're not about to let it disappear. This means you'll still be able to play matches and experience the magic that made Splitgate special, just in a different way. This is good news for fans of the original game. It's bad news for Splitgate 2. Because when that game inevitably dies, I mean, I'd argue it's already dead. It lost 80-90% of its player base after that dude wore that goofy ass hat in the microtransactions and shit like that. I'd argue this is probably going to be their solution for Splitgate 2, when inevitably they shut the servers down for that, and then they announced Splitgate 3. Could it be the majority of Sony ponies are casuals in disguise? I don't know what it is, bro. I just think people just be yapping. I think they be yapping. Isn't that how Nintendo does online? Who plays Nintendo online games? I don't know how they do it, bro. I haven't played online for Nintendo since Smash Bros. Well, no, I did play that what was it, the Mario Wonder World one that came out like last year with Siggy. We played co-op, but Smash. Every time I think of Nintendo online, I think of Smash Bros. That shit sucks. I don't play no Nintendo games online like that, bro. And even still, we played that shit for a week. That Mario game. Not gonna lie, you making me want to try Grounded. He gonna be up. Look at me, I'm a PlayStation nigga. I'm playing Grounded. I'm an ant. Riding around. Oh, sweet. In the new Grounded update, they're gonna add flying ants so I can get around the fucking neighborhood faster. Dude, last night I was on Grounded on my PlayStation, not playing Final Fantasy VII, the greatest RPG of all time, like I pretend to say in Twitter Spaces. I was on Grounded. I unlocked a new flying ant and I flew the ant to the other side of the block and I landed on some little girl's lemonade stand. And we fucking drowned it. Because remember, we're little people. It's Honey, We Shrunk the Kids. And then the little girl grabbed the glass of fucking lemonade, sold it to some random person on the street, and he said, look, and I got swallowed. Then I got in a fucking mini mission where I had to fight for my life inside of somebody's stomach acid. I'm telling you, Grounded is the premier PlayStation experience. Ugh. Fuck Cloud and Sephiroth.